So now we're going to look at visualizing information, which is a fancy way of saying charting, drawing charts and graphs and whatnot in Excel. This is a big deal because this is a skill that you'll use for sure when you get into the workplace. You know, a picture's worth 1,000 words, and the fact is it can be sometimes difficult for human beings to uncover meaning in data when it's presented in a table or a list, especially if the table has a lot of rows. But even if the table is kind of small, and look at this thing. This is widget sales from 2008 to 2015, and with small, medium, and large models. And then we have the amount of sales for each year for each of those models. So, you know, which model of widget experienced the largest growth in sales in the years in the table? Well, that's a hard question to understand. And even in a small table like this that you can see in a glance, you cannot tell easily which model experienced the greatest growth. I mean, you can look at the last year and say, well, let's see, the small model had the largest amount in sales, but did it grow the most compared to the others? That's very difficult to say. And you know, over the years, which proportion of total sales did the large model have? That's another question that's hard to answer. Was the large a third of the sales compared to the other two, a quarter, a half? That's very hard to tell when it's in the form of a table. But we can make a chart that allows you to answer those kinds of questions at a glance. So this is a very important concept I want you to get, is where charting helps. In other words, when you're looking at kinds of data, when should you think, oh, I need to make a chart for this? And the fact is, people have a hard time inferring two important properties of sets of numbers or lists of numbers. The first one is trends. That is the change in value over time in some value, like sales or costs or customer visits, all of that kind of stuff. Managers want to know, are our sales trending up, trending down, staying flat? So anytime there's a trend, that is a change in value over time, you should be thinking, oh, I'll draw a chart for that data. The second one is proportions. Anytime you're faced with trying to understand that, you should do it. So for example, this trend shows a change in value across time, and it's very easy to see that the small and the medium have been rising, but the large is flat and maybe even going down a little bit. That's the very same data that was in the table I just showed you, but now it's really easy to understand what the trend in the sales is over time. Proportions show the share of something at a single point in time. Where trends show change over time, a proportion is kind of a snapshot of a moment in time. So it shows, in this case, for the large, medium, and small widgets, the proportion of sales in 2015. So it's very easy to see that small was almost half of all the sales, large was a little under a quarter, and medium was about a third. That kind of thing, just to reemphasize, those kinds of trends and proportions is very hard to see when you're just looking at a set of numbers like this, even though we're only really looking at 24 different numbers. But imagine if this table was 2,000 rows long. You would have no hope of understanding what the information is that's stored in that data without being able to draw a chart over it. So, a couple things to think about when you're getting ready to draw a chart. Every chart should tell a story, and you should know what the story is you're trying to tell. I'm trying to show trends, or I'm trying to show proportions. And this is important. Every element of a chart should support the story. You should eliminate anything else. It's very easy to throw a lot of clutter with lines and colors and all that kind of stuff on a chart. That's all what's called chart junk. You should throw everything off a chart that's not absolutely required to tell your story. So keeping it simple means uncluttered, subdued colors. Keep simplifying and just toss anything off a chart that's not needed. So Excel provides a lot of different kinds of charts. Of the Microsoft tools like Word and Excel and Access and PowerPoint, that kind of thing, Excel has by far the most powerful charting features that are a part of it. So now we'll go on and look at several different kinds of charts that are built into Excel.